me 1 second. I'll be right back. I have to do something for like 2 seconds.
I miss you.
He doesn't care.
He'll hear that. I'll put that in the recording.
Oh, that I miss him. Well, it's true.
All right, let's go.
Hey everybody, Caligula here today, and I've come to say that I really like collecting seashells on the seashore. And this is the Generic Lucky Shoe Podcast. Today we have two guests. We have Ryan, you've met him before, Mr. Military Guy, and we have a new guy, Jake, who is a actuarial mathematician. So today we're going to be talking about that a bit, and possibly the Gamestonks deal that's been going on.
How's it going, guys?
Jake's nerd.
I just want to say, I think you're giving me too much credit on the actuarial mathematician front, you know.
You're a professional consultant here.
He is literally a professional here.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but I mean, when you start barking up the mathematician tree, that's where you get into hot water. I'm not trying to mess with those guys. They'll be like, "Oh, you didn't take Calc 20."
Okay, analysis is
Proof-based,
stupid, so yeah, no, it's fine.
Nobody needs to know that.
Right, it's
Very
only
few
what you're
people need to
qualified
know
in
it.
at the bare minimum. That's all you need.
All right, so
Practical application.
actuarial
How about
math.
that?
What is that, and why should we care?
Yeah, so basically, we all went to college. We know the finance bros that would walk around campus, right? Take a finance bro and mix it with the math nerds, and that's what an actuary is. Basically, you use math skills to really manage a company in terms of like financial projections, risk management, stuff like that. So
Okay.
pretty easy concept.
All right, so like, yeah, what do you do at your job like right now? Could you like tell us just a little bit about like what you do currently, what you have done in the past, just normal stuff?
Yeah, so most actuaries work in insurance, and they really will, I guess, depending on the field of insurance that you're working in, they'll project like, you know, I don't know, what prices people have to pay on life insurance policies, what rates they have to pay on auto insurance policies. I kind of went a different direction. I went into the financial field, so I do credit loss and economic projections for the company that I work for now. So it's really taking into account how the economy's looking, you know, forward-looking projections, and then really seeing how different credit unions and banks perform under those different analyses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, real exciting stuff.
I gotta imagine there's like a million factors that go into the direction of the economy. Like, what are the major ones that you often like take into account first or look at first?
Yeah, so there's a really couple main drivers. I mean, basically, and this is like common sense at this point, like really the unemployment rate is like the biggest driver of how like different, I guess, typically financial institutions, the ones that I work with. So that's really the big driver of how they perform, because if, you know, a bunch of people are unemployed, you know, you can't, you know, make payments on your loans, on your house, stuff like that. So unemployment being the biggest one, you know, how much housing prices are appreciating or depreciating. There's a couple other stuff that goes into that, but those are like the really high level, like key ones.
Now that we've established that this person is somewhat of an expert and worth listening to and knows way more about this junk than we do, we established last week that we have no idea what happened with GameStop. So, as someone in the field, could you give us like an idea of what happened and what went on with the whole thing?
Yeah, so I think the whole scenario, while it's extremely funny, first and foremost, that's all I want to say. Like, you know, most of the people I talk to that are, you know, in positions of power genuinely think it's funny from like an investing standpoint. It's really just the bigger companies that got destroyed by this. But the thing that I want to make clear about this is like a lot of people will throw out like, you know, just a bunch of like vocabulary terms that, you know, like it's hard for the average person who hasn't been like introduced to those terms to really understand what's going on. But like the concept's really simple. So like once you get like the vocab, then it's pretty easy to understand what's going on.
All right.
So, basically what happened is the hedge funds that we're bashing on right now, they took what's called a short position against GameStop. Okay, so what that means is these hedge funds would go to a stockbroker. They would borrow a share of GameStop. Okay, so you can legally do this. You can literally just borrow it from a broker for temporary use. Okay, and you have to give it back at a later date. Okay. Let's keep that in mind. Okay, so the hedge funds borrow this share. They go and sell it on the open market. Okay, because they think that the price is going to go down. Okay, so if I sell it now, and it's cheaper in the future, I can buy it back and give it back to the broker for less than I sold it for. Right.
Oh.
So if I sell it now for $100. And I buy it back at a later date for, let's say, $50 and give it back to the broker, I just made $50, right?
Yeah, got you.
Okay. So these hedge funds saw GameStop and they thought that the stock is wildly overvalued because GameStop is, the industry term is a brick and mortar shop that is really not doing well and has no clear direction. So we think that the stock price is going to go down sharply, okay? So what these guys would do is they would borrow as many GameStop shares as they could, and they would go sell it on the open market. And, these Redditors, Wall Street bets took notice because there are reports that you can look at that tell you which stocks are being shorted. So they noticed that GameStop was being shorted up the wazoo. So what they decided to do was get together and buy every share on the market and just invest the living crap out of GameStop. So shares on the open market became really scarce. And when it came time for these hedge funds to, buy back the shares and give it back to the brokers, there weren't many shares on the open market. So since, high demand, low supply, the price skyrocketed. So since they had to buy back the shares at a greater price than what they originally sold it for, they started taking massive losses across the board. And that's really the entire situation summed up into just a brief, simple explanation of it. There's a little more that goes on, but that's a pretty straightforward explanation of all the stuff that happened.
So is there a specified timeline then? After you borrow from the brokerage, you need to give it back after this amount of time? Or could they have just waited this out and kind of played a game of chicken with each other?
So this is one of the areas that I'm a little less sure of. I'm sure that some agreements have a specified timeline, you can borrow it for a month. And I'm sure that certain agreements are less defined where it's a kind of an open-ended transaction. And you can kind of see this in terms of, some people are getting out of the market. It's the GameStop millionaires, so to speak, the guys that put their, firstborn's kidney on the line and really invested all their money in GameStop. Those people got out and made a ton of money, but you've seen this huge, kind of movement on Reddit and other platforms where it's saying, hold the line, where if you just keep holding onto the stocks, right, the demand stays there. And these people keep having to take losses. So I'm pretty sure there's both kinds of agreements, although I'm not exactly sure on the legality of that.
So what would be the best way out of it, I guess, in your opinion? Are you just screwed as a hedge fund if you got into this situation?
Well, what we've seen is, some of the investing platforms have shut down trades. And have really tried to, normalize and create more of a flood of shares into the market to try to protect the hedge funds. So that's been an interesting kind of, workaround, so to speak. But ideally, if you're the people that bought the GameStop shares and you see that there's this massive demand from the hedge funds to buy these because they have to, you're gonna sell them because that makes sense from you as a consumer, and you're just gonna make a ton of money while they make a ton of losses. Mm-hmm. So that's ideally and like reasonability check what is supposed to happen here, and then after all the shares have shifted positions, the price of GameStop should go back to more of a sensible market position once this kind of demand supply kind of discrepancy has been resolved.
Yeah, because like adding on to that, what is to stop Wall Street Bets or r/Wall Street Bets from doing this again in the future? Like just seeing someone or a hedge fund doing something like this and jumping on it like that.
That's a really good question, and currently Wall Street is trying to answer that question right now. So I've talked to a decent number of people, and these are people that manage risk. Right, so we're trying to take away all the downside of investing, and it's really looking at, how do we prevent this situation from happening again, right? And what I think was really the driver of this entire scenario was like they leveraged themselves so hard against GameStop that like when people took notice of it, it's like it's so easy to just destroy this position. So I think a simple answer would just be don't leverage yourself so hard. Like don't put all your chips in one basket when other investors can notice that you're doing that, right? Mm-hmm. But to answer your original question of what's stopping Wall Street Bets from doing this again, absolutely nothing. they can go do that whatever. Now, so there are a few interesting like legal questions of what's going on here because this is definite collusion to drive up a stock price, right?
Yeah, it's they're not getting together in a backward room, but they're on a chat site doing it, which is
perfect,
interesting.
Yes, so there's definite collusion to drive up stock price, but the reason, and once again, I'm not a legal expert on this, but I think that the reason that these guys don't have a solid legal case against the Wall Street Bets guys is because they very clearly said we are overvaluing this stock. So that's a little bit different if I was telling you to go buy the stock because I think it's undervalued, right? And then I get, a bunch of other people to go buy the stock. So it drives up the price for, a stock that's not worth that. And then I make money, right? Because that's lying by saying, oh, it's undervalued, go buy it. These guys were very clear in saying that we're going to intentionally overvalue GameStop for the sole purpose of screwing over a hedge fund. And that's where the hilarity comes in. They had no reason to do this other than to screw them over.
And they did screw this hedge fund over, but this leads to another question. How did Wall Street actually get screwed? And did other hedge funds not take advantage of what was happening or anything like that?
So I have to look at really the outcomes for different institutions, but there's a few famous examples of taking massive losses, and those are the people that were really, really leveraged hard. But I mean, let's be honest, if some guy on Reddit can collude with other guys on Reddit and make a ton of money off this scenario, the guys on Wall Street definitely can look at these trends and see what's going on and adapt on the fly to this. So I'm sure several institutions came out profiting massively from this, but there are a few massive loss cases where, they just got screwed over. And hey, the Wall Street Bets guy at least won a few scenarios, right? Because it's like the little guy versus the big guy. That's like the big narrative that's driving this.
Yeah.
Raj, this is just reminding me, on a sillier note, of when I heard your family playing Monopoly in the background, and your mom was like, your brother was yelling at your mom, like, oh, that's not fair, and your mom just, stone cold dead ass. I heard her, this is why you diversify your investments, and don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And it cracked me up so much because your mom was just so stern. This is Monopoly, but she sounds like it's life and death.
It's a learning experience right there.
You gotta teach them hard lessons. You got the chance.
To her, it is life and death. This
God.
is her bread and butter. She's on stocks 24/7. So
Oh man, I'd never heard such a serious game of Monopoly.
Well, my brother's shouting and screaming. And, oh, that was fun.
That was a little tangent, but
Hey, we had the David vs. Goliath. It's fine. I'm happy.
so what I'm hearing is that you definitely shouldn't just throw too much money into one area of the stock market.
It's literally just what it boils down to. I mean, they took a massive position against GameStop. People noticed it and decided to take advantage of it. That's literally what the entire scenario boils down to.
The legality thing came from Robinhood when they stopped the trading. That's where the legal issues are starting to get in, and
that's the really interesting portion of this, because you can tie some of the investments in Robinhood, so like people who own it, back to some of the hedge funds that took massive losses. So like when Congress was talking about, investigating kind of these connections, there was largely bipartisan support to do it. And if you know there's bipartisan support for something, you know something's amiss.
Yeah. Man, these guys can't solve COVID in a timely fashion, but man, when money is being lost, they'll get right on that.
Not wrong.
So what's going on now, I guess? What's our current situation with GameStop?
I think it's still the hold the line movement.
It's still going up right now. I'm looking at it on the interwebs.
Yep.
So should I be running to invest in GameStop right now?
Absolutely not. These are people that are holding on to their shares, that are trying to keep the stock price high, and really still take advantage of the fact that some of these institutions have to make good on their borrowings from the brokers.
Yeah, but what we know about lessons in the rise and fall of stocks, what goes up must come down.
Oh.
Especially if the business is floundering in
reality. GameStop is not doing well.
When's the last time you guys have been to a GameStop, honestly?
Like yesterday.
What
do you think John
usually
and I were
when
doing?
My fiance is going to get her hair cut. Because then, what am I going to do? I'm going to stand around and wait? So might as well go look at stuff in GameStop.
The only times I've ever gone to GameStop was when my brother would go pop figure hunting and track down like one of the Phantom Thieves or something like that at a GameStop, and I'll just tag along with him. But that's legit for maybe the past 2 years. That was the only times I went to a GameStop, was to look for Persona 5 pop figures.
Wait, are you saying Gaga is a Persona 5 fan?
Of course.
Oh my god, I love him more already.
Oh god.
That's a man of taste.
If you ask me,
we have more Persona
if you
people.
ask me when's the oh, go for it.
No, we just have more Persona people. That's
The clan is growing. Yeah, the last time I've been to a GameStop was earlier in the summer. Now, if you ask me the last time that I bought something from GameStop, that would probably be back in a 3rd grade birthday party where the host took us to GameStop, and the party favor was a $10. You got $10 to spend at GameStop. So 3rd grade is the last time I spent money there.
Yeah,
I think the last time I spent money there was when I was looking for. I was looking at the collection of Nintendo DS games. I was like, you know what? These are kind of hard to find, so I might actually buy these.
I drove my brother there earlier in the summer because he wanted a Switch, and they were out of Switches.
Everyone was out of Switches earlier.
Yeah, that's because
That's
all
fair.
the, what are they? The robots, basically, proxy programs bought them all out.
Completely random side note, is it still really hard to get PS5s in the new Xbox?
Yes.
in some countries it's
impossible right now.
extremely difficult. UK, when they redid the stock and got more PS5s in stock, immediately scalpers just got on it. It is incredibly hard.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's because all they have to do
Remember
is
the story-
write a program that literally just looks for the product and acquires it.
Mm-hmm.
John, I remember the story you told earlier in the summer of the lady that came for her Switch that she ordered at Target and wasn't there yet, and she was screaming we need the Switch, and she like took her mask off or something.
Oh yeah, she.
You remember
Oh, I
that?
remember that. Yeah. I was doing a pick and like this one of the she was at the customer service area waiting for a pickup, and she said like I risked the livelihood of myself and my family to help get this Switch. Where is it? Or something like that. Asked for the manager. It just started like just completely having a fit just the middle of the customer service area of so many people. I just had a stroke listening to it. I can't remember the rest of it though, unfortunately.
The fact that she took her mask
I
off.
risk life and limb to come to this target.
See,
And
that's
then
the
she took
difference
her
between
mask
me and you, John. If somebody does that, where I have things on order and they come and scream and do whatever at me, I'm just gonna be like, get out of my office.
It's a little different from military.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
can
say
do that.
there's stuff that I can control, but that is completely on the vendor. So you can get as mad as you like at me, but that's fine. It's not gonna change anything.
Just sitting there losing their mind.
John secretly has an M16 under his counter, just ready and waiting to pull it out.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Target, don't listen.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, don't check under the counter. He's totally lying.
Well, I
This is
mean,
just
they
a
wouldn't
joke.
even be checking under the counter because that would be the emergency button, right? Not an M16.
Yes, just the
Duh.
emergency button. Yeah.
Por
Exactly,
qué no los dos?
Yes, the emergency button.
when in event of emergency, break glass. Yes.
Oh my God.
I mean, if we have round 2 of rioting coming up soon here, it might not be a bad investment.
I mean, isn't it gonna happen? I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen.
We'll see.
More riding?
Yeah.
As soon as what is it?
Yeah.
George Floyd
Floyd.
sentencing.
The Floyd and the Chauvin case starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for a long time in the U.S. it's been just a question of when, not if.
Yeah.
See, I thought my grandfather was crazy about that, but I guess he was right all along.
Yeah, I don't even when's the last year that we didn't have some sort of like large scale protest or riot?
Like an entire year devoid of protest?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably like.
Well,
Ever.
protesting is one thing. Rioting is a little bit different.
Like large
Yeah.
We haven't
scale
had a
rioting,
large
maybe
scale
different.
riot in a long time. I think the most recent one that we had was probably back in the
Like, talking about the
80s.
LA riots?
Yeah,
Rodney
I'm thinking
King?
of
Yeah, Rodney King.
Rodney King. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah,
Who's Rodney King?
What?
he was a he was an African American that got like this guy like managed to videotape like a bunch of cops pulling him over and just started beating him.
Oh.
Like,
Oh yeah, there was that one too. That's right.
I think that was the Rodney King one, wasn't
That
it?
was the Rodney King one. I was thinking of one that was even before that, but you're right. That actually, we had riots off of that.
Yeah, that was where the whole Korean on the rooftop meme comes from.
Yeah.
Wait. What?
Like the rooftop Korean gunmen and stuff like that. Have you not heard this meme
No,
before?
no. I have no idea
No.
what you're talking about.
Oh, it's like there's like a pretty big Koreatown in LA. So like because a lot of the rioting ended up, of course, like escalating and diluting eventually.
Of course.
And when that happened, like the cops started just like there's some areas that just got completely overwhelmed, so the cops couldn't do anything about it. And basically like a lot of the portions of Koreatown, like it got really big in the news of them just like all coming out in arms, like just protecting their own shops. Like you would see like entire rooftops of just fully armed Koreans protecting like their little Koreatowns and stuff like that.
Jesus.
And then, like-
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Flashbacks.
Like all in like some of them in like military attire and stuff like that, because most male Koreans, especially if they were at some point living in South Korea, have to go through
to be
mandatory military service.
Can you imagine that? It's like, no, we were actually trained military people, or formerly trained military people. Try and hurt
yeah.
my shop.
Yeah, I don't know any trained military people. You know?
Yeah, just no.
They don't exist anymore.
You know what's wild? My girlfriend's grandpa on her mom's side, was in the Laotian military, like during the communist revolution, and like fought in that, and like is now living in the U.S. because his side lost the war. That's gotta be fucking weird.
Yeah,
like fighting in a war and like getting out of the country at the end. And I don't. Yeah, that's wild.
Wait,
Lao
Lao
was crazy, dude.
did Lao become communist?
Yeah. Most of Indochina, post around the time of the Vietnam War, were at some point either Maoist or just communist in some shape or form. Like the Khmer Rouge Revolution that happened in Cambodia happened at the exact same time as the Vietnam War. And Lao, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Marcus knows this plenty well from the stuff he's always talks to me about once in a while, but, like, because of the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the Vietnam War basically was part of Lao as well.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, there's the good old secret Laotian War, as it's called that in Laos because whenever they do have Americans visit, like most Americans have no idea that we were ever in Laos.
Yeah, no, I had no idea.
But,
See, this
here,
is
let me
why
look up the payload.
This is why America is great. Because would you ever get a Gamestonks scenario in Laos? Hard to say.
Oh my God.
The real question to ask, John, were these communist Soblenites, or were they?
Oh no, we're not talking about this. This is on podcast.
What are you talking about, John?
We're not bringing up Hoi 4 mods on podcast.
I want my fairyland communist revolution that in no way, shape, or form will fall apart because it's not practical at all.
Oh my God, no, get us out.
Yeah. Here's the crazy-ass statistic about the Laotian War. So there were 580,000 bombing missions. And it was equivalent to a plane load of bombs every 8 minutes, 24 hours a day, for 9 years. That's how much ordnance we dropped on Laos.
Yeah, that sounds about right, considering what we've done to other countries.
This is more excessive than actually anything we've done to another country before.
Is, but
or since. This is like...
Is it really the highest?
Yeah, it is the highest,
Wow.
from what I understand.
Because I know
we
that
bombed the shit out of Laos.
I know what people like to say about the Vietnam War is that we dropped more bombs in northern Vietnam, or like during the Vietnam War, than we did during the entirety of World War II. I remember people saying that a lot. I actually don't even know if that's true, but I hear that all the time.
I could believe it. Maybe it's like more for the size of the... No, I think it's just more.
It's also easier.
From what I understand, it's the most we've dropped on a single country.
Well, as time went on, it just became easier to drop more and more ordnance, right? Like, you could just drop, like, 20 bombs of napalm and it'll do it. Or, like, your bombers now, instead of dropping, like, their 10 or 6 or however many bombs a B-17 could carry, your B-24, B-52 is dropping God knows what.
Let alone all of the active landmines that are still in Laos.
And then, like...
Because we never cleaned up the landmines that we set.
I mean, it's a little difficult to. This is not Iran. We can't just run kids through the minefield telling them they'll go to heaven. Which,
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a real thing. They did that.
No, that's a real thing.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah, they did that.
Oh my God.
It's seen as a real thing.
So in the Iran-Iraq War, that came I forget what was the head person of Iran at the time. The supreme,
Khomeini.
Yeah, Khomeini, the supreme religious leader. Iraq mined the border between Iran and Iraq, and Iran needed to get through. So they basically told the kids, "Hey, if you go run through this minefield, you will go to heaven." And they sent the kids through the minefield to blow up the mines so that they could then move their military through the blown up minefield. So
they conscripted a lot of people. And then the war kind of got to a point where it started to represent more of the old World War I trench warfare. So to do a lot of stuff like what Raj was talking about, they conscripted basically a lot of people, and a lot of youth movements ended up joining the army that were untrained.
Listen, I get it. Kids suck, right? But that's a bit much.
It's about sending a message.
Hey man, If you see this guy's face when the Shah got ousted and he came back and there was like cheers and everything, this dude was like stone cold just sitting there as the car was going through the throngs of like cheerers and like of people. He was just like stone cold just staring out, like the 1,000-yard stare of death, just didn't react. Guy's an animal. For good or ill, whatever you want to call it.
That was a cheery note.
Yes.
Indeed.
Well, I mean,
Nothing like
This is why
GameStop and the
people-
landmines.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is like escalated so
No,
quick.
it ties so well together. I don't know what you guys talking about.
Yeah, obviously similar.
so
Yeah,
know what a bouncy
investing
Betty is from Call
global
of Duty.
thermonuclear war. Mm.
yeah. So Japanese
Let's
medical
play global
experimentation.
thermonuclear war. Okay. Which side
Yeah, no
would you
wonder
like to
the
play
U.S.
as?
looks back and no wonder the U.S. looks back at World War II and is like, yeah, let's just think about this. This is a much
The
better memory
greatest
for us.
generation.
Things get very messy. Like in Korea War, we had MacArthur basically saying, "Look, we need to nuke the border between Korea and China. We need to nuke it."
That's just some crazy, some fun ideas that people come up with when you read into it long enough. It's you get all sorts of nutty stuff. Like
There's always the nuclear option.
like the moment we developed them, there was the nuclear option. Like Operation Unthinkable is a really good example. Like the moment we defeated Nazi Germany, there was already like a plan on paper to like immediately continue the war into the Soviet Union, which would involve like basically like which would involve heavy use of U.S. nukes on like the Russian border and stuff like that. Like the moment we were like, yes, we invented nukes. Now, guys, time to make plans. What
Did
shall we do
Russia
next?
have nukes by that
No.
point?
No,
No, they
didn't.
the Russians got nukes in 1951, something like that. I think
Oh,
there was like a moment where you could argue that the U.S. was at the absolute height of their power when there was no other countries in the world that had nukes.
yeah. I feel like Nuke Unlocked is pretty much.
That's pretty peak.
That puts you a step ahead for sure.
It's pretty peak.
Come on, there's a
potency
reason
right
it wins
there.
Call of Duty games.
Yes. This is what I want
Imagine-
in my like little skirmish of like 8-on-8. We're gonna call in a tactical nuke.
Hey, I mean, it made us win.
Gotta
didn't it?
make sure you
Yeah.
get those guys. You can't miss.
That last dude's a camper. That's all I gotta say.
Are they not dead? That's all I'm saying.
Gotta
But
make
did
sure,
you
dude.
die?
Yes, I
got
did
the
that.
job done. Oh my goodness.
So anyway,
It is nice to hear. Oh, go for it, Rush.
no, I was gonna say something stupid like. So anyway, Japanese war crimes. So if you have something actual to say,
I was gonna say it's really nice to hear from like somebody that actually has the credentials to talk about the stuff that happened with GameStop, because like I kind of had an idea about what happened, and then of course like my brother's kind of like plays around a lot of stocks, but then to actually like hear it from like somebody that can be like, oh yes, I can actually like trust you. I don't think you're trying to lie to
You
me.
guys are hyping me up too much. You act
I
like
mean,
I'm not
you got
official
the,
at
you
all.
got the paper, Jake.
Oh, yeah,
You-
a piece of
also, you
paper
made
hanging on the
shorts-
wall.
You made shorting make a lot more sense to me because I was like, how the hell are the stock prices going up and they're losing money when they have the stock? It's like, oh, they don't actually own the stock.
This
they
is
need to
what
give
I'm
it
talking
back.
about. Like,
Oh shit.
a lot of it is just vocabulary that people throw out. They're like, "Ooh, the short squeeze," and most people are like, "That makes no sense to me," right?
Like,
but like,
what are
when
you
when-
talking about?
yeah, when you get it actually like explained, it makes complete sense. Like, it's pretty much all just vocabulary stuff.
Let me see.
So other than like playing these games with companies where it's like, oh, they're gonna go down, is there any reason to short a company? Like other than they're screwed, or you think the company's screwed?
I mean, shorting is literally just like taking a bet that the price is going to go down. That's all it is. So, I mean,
okay.
it could be for, they're overvalued, the price is going to decrease. It could be like, I don't know, some disaster's going to happen that stock prices go down. It's literally just a bet that, the price is going to decrease. Whatever reason behind that or why you believe that, that's up to the investor. But Hard to say.
Yeah, that seems like counter to how most people think about the stock market. Normally, you're thinking about putting money into these companies that you're gonna see grow, rather than betting on them failing. It just seems counter to like how most people view the stock market.
Hey, we love to see people fail.
Yeah,
and that's just humans.
That's probably why people got so confused by it. Like that's what I was why I was confused. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about the fact that you could bet on people going down.
Dude, this is humanity. If we can't bet on people failing, then what are we doing?
How do you make money if you can't bet on people failing?
You can make money off any scenario other than like a complete market collapse, which I'm sure people would find a way to make money off.
There's
that.
probably people who are currently wagering on a market
You know
collapse.
who made money on the last time the market had collapsed? The banks.
The people that have their money in their mattress.
Isn't that the whole plot behind the Big Short?
The people who have their money in their mattress, they're betting on the market
get
collapsing.
bailed out by the government.
Like, hell yeah.
That's who makes money.
Who does?
The people bailed out by our dear Uncle Sam.
By the U.S., yes.
That's like the one thing that kind of got exposed by this whole like situation is like kind of all those shady connections between, you know, the investing platforms, like the people in government and the hedge funds, right? One of my favorite
really shines
things.
A big spotlight on it.
Yeah, go. Well, just after like people got COVID briefings, there were multiple like representatives that like went and sold a bunch of shares. So it's like they all have friends in these places, and it's no surprise to see that this is like the outcome.
Yeah, like my dad and brother bring it up all the time. A lot, like basically like whenever like the stimulus money was coming in for companies, especially the airlines. It basically was like just like a giant spotlights for them being like, oh yeah, now we can, they're gonna bail us out, so like we can do all sorts of stuff for our money now.
Oh, beautiful.
That's why people hate Wall Street, is because every time like you make a huge gamble, it seems that they get bailed out. That's really like the kind of the animus that people have with Wall Street, because you know, if you make a risky bet, you should pay the consequences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
They don't play by the same rules.
Nah, too big to fail. These banks are just too big to fail. We can't let it go down.
Yeah, if they went down, all these other people would go down. And also the politicians would go down.
That's the thing. The politicians would go down, and then they lose money.
Oh no, my funding!
Yeah. Can't have that happen.
My money.
Why are you bailing these people out? I like money.
I like their money.
Yes.
I like the money they give me.
You remember that entire campaign that they funded for you? Yeah. They remember.
So is this kind of like, in some ways, the first like major, I guess in a way, a watershed moment where the people that kind of not run the stock market, but like the big players in the stock market are seeing that we have this information distributing in these like chat windows and these smaller communities, and they can actually get together and play big.
Possibly,
I'd really kind of thing happened before.
I'd really have to look back, because you know I don't have like, you know, every historical event, you know, just fresh in my mind. But
what?
my bad.
He's fake. He's a fake specialist. Got him.
Yeah, it's I'm actually stupid. No, so I think that, you know, this kind of is, from what I've seen. I've heard a lot of people talk about, and once again, this is like a vocabulary term that I've heard come up. It's like momentum-based investing. Is where you really try to capitalize on some of these, what I'll call mobs, you know, really dumping their money into a certain security. So I've definitely heard that come up. I don't know if this is really like the first one, but it's definitely the freshest in everyone's mind. That's the one thing I can say, is where this is really, I mean, how many times have you heard just some random, you know, guy on the streets talking about GameStop? It's really brought, you know, a lot of more investors and we'll say consumers as a whole, you know, really thinking about the whole scenario. So possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Basically every news channel I saw, like I like was bringing up the GameStop stuff and like Reddit. So yeah, momentum is definitely,
dude,
playing
AOC and frickin' what was his name from Texas, I believe, the senator.
Ted Cruz
were on board with each other doing it, man. There's some lost money going on that they did not want lost.
That is a united front I would never expect to hear.
Look, man, money is money. At the end of the day, we're kind of colleagues, and we like our money where it is. You know, keeping it here.
Yes, sir. Money is money. I'm sorry.
Hey, John. Hey, John. Did you know that most of our imports come from other countries?
Dude, I really missed
Holy
that.
moly.
Yo! The room's spinning
Every
right
60
now. Oh my
seconds,
god.
a minute passes in Africa. Together, we can stop this.
Out of all the people who have
Holy
died from
crap.
COVID, out of all the people who have died from COVID, how many do you think survived?
0. Oh no.
Oh no.
Hold on, no, I'm doing the analysis. Give me a sec.
we have the best presidents.
Oh, yeah.
man.
Polar
We
bears
do.
aren't endangered. They're just unlucky.
I love George W. Just for that quote. Just for that quote. Imagine being in a press conference and hearing W just say, "You know, I just recently found out that some of our imports come from other countries."
Holy
Really?
moly.
Really?
There's legitimately a part of one of his speeches. It was like on the White House where he just paused for a second and went, "I forgot what I was talking about."
No, if you guys want the ultimate W clip, he was like doing a round of golf or something, and like reporters caught up to him and they were like asking for like a comment on, it was like maybe like a terrorist attack or something. It was some major debacle in like the Middle East. And like he gives his kind of, press version of like a comment, and then at the end of it he goes, "Now watch this drive," and he turns around and goes and tees off.
Dude,
People meme
he's
that
like
so
literally-
hard all the time.
I remember that.
Oh my god.
Good
It was
God.
so bad. Literally, like,
It was a good
what about
drive.
this existential terrorist threat that's looming over us? I don't know, man. I'm just here to play golf.
Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive.
Oh, that's so good.
The man that kept on giving. Cut
Bless that
down.
man.
Bless.
We're gonna have 4 years of Biden, though, man. I'm ready.
We're gonna have 2 years of Biden, and then he's gonna go senile, and then we're gonna have 2 more years of Kamala Harris.
I don't
No,
know
no,
what
they're
you're
gonna, like,
saying,
keep him-
Jack.
They're gonna keep him going
Yeah,
for all 4
but
years. They're gonna like start
It's gonna
popping
be like
him
the
up on like a ton of drugs,
zombie
Adderall.
yeah, it's gonna be like zombie Reagan.
Yeah, and behind him,
exactly.
Kamala's just like, yes, good, good. Now spin it in his general direction. Something
It's the
silly.
entire cabinet, bro. Get out of here with this Cavill shit. It's everybody.
Yeah, but Vice President Kamala, it's narratives. John, you know about this. It's narratives.
Oh, yes, but we're not here to talk about narratives. We're here to talk.
Oh.
Just like Cheney was the had his hand up Bush's ass, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At least that's what they say.
Didn't they make a movie
Yep.
about that?
Yup.
did.
It was like the VP or something.
Vice, I think?
Yeah, Vice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah. They made a book about it too. Like there was a ton of
Oh,
stuff.
they make a book about everything, bro.
And that this is all
People trying to slander W. I won't take it. That man's too good at driving the golf ball.
Dude, he's a phenomenal painter, too.
That's what he should have done. He should have been a painter. But then there's no money
He
in
is a
painting,
painter.
so, President first.
But are we talking about
then
Hitler now?
painting.
Or-
George W. is a painter.
Do you think George would have invested in GameStop?
That's what keeps
That's
me
a
up
really
at night.
good
Only if
question.
Cheney told him.
This is what keeps
Let's
me up
think
at
about
night.
this. It was when we were talking to Joe, he said this. Basically everybody being an idiot made them all geniuses, right? So now, based on the history track record we have of George W. Bush, would he be on the people who would be on the hedge funds, or would he be on the people who are the Redditors? That's a good question.
I have this phenomenal image
Because
of,
they both did
George
something
W.
stupid,
on Wall Street Bets.
right? Yeah. See, that's what I'm thinking about too,
Dude, all-
John. I'm like, well,
Just
I can see him
imagine
being
George
either
Bush.
one of them.
He would be both. He would have been on the hedge fund side, then forgotten about it.
And
You're right. He would have started out as a hedge fund, and then he would have said, like, "Watch this drive."
Oh boy,
Boom,
this is a great
he's
opportunity.
On, Reddit.
He's just like, okay, so what should I be doing, guys? Like, what's this all about?
Oh, invest.
Now?
All right.
This is like one of my favorite parts about this whole thing is like you see like the usernames that made a ton of money off this. So I can only imagine like George's like username on Reddit. It's like the W coming in from the top ropes. I made $12 million on GameStonks.
The W.
Dude, what if Bush started a Twitch streaming?
Oh, sweet Jesus.
That'd be lit.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. Just seeing him try.
I'd be into it.
I've watched too much Russian Badger, so all I'm imagining is George W. saying poggers in the chat right now.
Dude, he's like
funny.
breaking down his rig. Could you imagine George W. doing a rig breakdown? Like, oh yeah, I got the AMD Ryzen.
No, you gotta have his accent. You gotta have a
his
George
accent,
Bush
too.
accent
Oh
when
my
you're
God.
saying it.
I got this doohickey here.
Dude,
Not sure what it does. Yeah.
You know what would be
He's
great?
breaking down the clip of dodging shoes. He's like, that was pretty pog.
It would be great if Clinton did that. Just imagine Clinton trying to do this, like, streaming.
His
So,
entire channel
Oh,
be shit
lordy.
posted.
it's just, all right, y'all. I'm here. I'm doing it. Is any hot girls in the chat? You know, just.
Oh no.
No. They have to be
Ariana
underage
Grande.
girls.
Ah, yes, that's right. I mean, he was looking at Ariana Grande, and.
That's true. Yeah,
What?
Or sorry, no,
Where's
that's
Epstein at?
Biden.
We've-
Biden just has
we've
to,
talked about
has
this
to
before.
sniff underage.
Yes, Biden sniffs underage girls. Clinton just looks
True.
very
but Biden
explicitly.
bite his wife's face.
Wait, what are you guys talking about?
You haven't seen that video? Oh my god, there's so like I don't know what was happening. Like his wife at like some public speech held her hand up near his face and he turned his head and just like put her finger in his mouth and then like turned back to the mic. It was so weird.
Oh my god.
Our
Oh, that's
political
great.
leaders, everyone. It's great.
Nail fungus,
man.
delicious.
The next few years are definitely going to highlight just how much of a figurehead the United States president is.
Oh yeah. If it hadn't already been, like, it's
Yeah.
in everyone's face by this point.
It's like as we just slowly watch our commander-in-chief's brain melt on live television.
Pretty sure like Ryan was
like,
just saying it's probably just gonna be another Reagan year,
Yeah.
possibly.
That's
Second
exactly
term
what I was
Reagan, I should
thinking.
say specifically.
Oh, so good.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, John. Just Reagan went like legitimately like almost brain dead in his last year or two.
Yeah,
Aren't we
it's
all
like,
a little brain dead?
Oh, absolutely. But
See, we're
you know,
we're not responsible for representing a country, though. That's the difference here.
yeah, you're not.
Reagan.
As far as I understand, Jacob, you're not currently commander in chief.
Oh, what's it called?
He's the commander in chief of Laos.
When you look at the stars and it's star magic astrology. Reagan had like a astrologist in his employment while he was president.
Did he
I
really?
would.
Like listen to her, and he like started meetings at like specific times, like at weird times, like 11:37 a.m.
Yeah, it's the
He would start the press
Sagittarius hour.
conference.
Come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they're like, people were like, "This is weird. Why are we starting? Like, why don't we just start at noon or whatever it is, whatever the normal time is?" Like, no, we need to start it now because this is the good time. The stars will align on me.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Incredible.
I would have
Yeah.
an astrologist. That'd be hilarious. Guy, is it true, Mr. President, that you have an astrologist in your employment? Absolutely. Why? I don't know. Shits and giggles. Why else?
Yo,
How else do I know if the gods are smiling down at me? Like, what the fuck?
BuzzFeed would be permanently on your side. That's a win.
Oh man. Yeah, I learned that from a different podcast called something Bastards. I don't remember the name of the podcast exactly, but basically they go through like the worst people in history and just kind of like do
Wait.
Was
a
Reagan
little
one of them?
Reagan
documentary
got
about
on the
him.
worst people in history? What is this bullshit? There's no way he's even close.
I think it was actually about his astrologer. that was on the list.
How did his astrologer get on the list? Did he go and like?
That's so interesting.
Was he doing Burgundy? Was he trying to get the Burgundy system?
The Great
God.
Bastards, I think.
Calm down, Rash.
I don't get it.
With the TNO references.
Okay, maybe they ran out of bad people. You know,
There's a lot of bad people. There's a lot. What are we doing here? Like,
Yeah, how can they run out of bad people though? I am curious.
we've covered so many bad people that we've gotten to the point where we're talking about the astrologist for Reagan.
That's an oddly
Behind the
niche
Bastards.
category.
Good grief.
that's what it's called. It's called Behind the Bastards.
Oh, wait, okay.
Yeah.
Do they have to be born out of wedlock, though? Is that a category? Because then you could run out of bad people faster, you know?
That's true.
I'm sure we could find like 1 million bad people who were born outside of wedlock.
Yeah, but then it still restricts the amount of people by a pretty serious amount.
That is
pretty
true.
large margin there.
But it would take a
I mean,
lot
I've
of
read Game of
episodes
Thrones.
to run out.
I know bastards are inherently bad people.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
All horrible people,
Yeah.
every single one of them.
Is anyone here a bastard by any chance? Just so we know who is
A terrible
Jake.
person.
yeah.
Why are you volunteering me?
Bro,
Put him
I
out.
am not.
they're tossing out of bed.
What the heck, man?
Raj, weren't you an oopsie?
Okay, there's a big difference between being an oopsie and being a bastard.
Is it conceived out of wedlock or born out of
I'm
wedlock?
pretty sure it's born out
Yes.
of wedlock.
Okay. You can have a quickie marriage, then you're good.
Like one day before.
Oh shit!
Kid's legit.
It's gonna happen.
Like literally,
They say
in
we
the
can't abort it
hospital on
anymore. It's too late.
in the hospital on the bed, like, and your man and wife. All right.
Getting married by like the Vegas Elvis.
You may kiss the bride. Do I have to? Can I like wait a couple minutes? Like, no, kiss the bride right now.
Like the lady's literally holding the baby's head and like, kiss me.
Oh, Jesus!
Kiss me, you fool.
What a great visual.
But don't you have to consummate the marriage?
Oh God. Jesus Christ.
Holy shit!
For legal reasons, that was a joke, I swear.
On paper, I am kid.
Alright, I don't even know how to follow that up.
All right, sweetie. We gotta do it. I know your cervix is opening, but like, them's the breaks. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! No, eject,
God.
eject.
Alright, we're at about 55 minutes here. That's good, I think.
No,
for
we
today.
need more. We need more.
Talk about that. We need more. Alrighty, I think we're gonna call it for today. But thanks for getting on, everybody.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, that was really awesome going through that. Good.
Yeah, it was better than
I appreciate it.
my what I was saying a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna listen to the episode before this and be like, "What the fuck were they talking?"
Yeah. What specifically
the
was
North
Raj
Korea
talking
one?
about? And half the time too, it was be like Jake would know more about this, or like, hey, I got this from Jake. It's like maybe we should have him on just to tell us what the hell is happening, so it's not me trying to interpret him. Depression.
I too am a smooth brain.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you have a great day or night or whenever it is. Thanks for listening. Bye.
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 Viva la revolución.